This story isn't something that happened to me directly, but to a senior coworker I respected deeply. He had been in car sales far longer than I had, and even after he left the industry, he was someone I trusted completely. He was the kind of person who never exaggerated, never joked about serious things, and never lied. That's why, when he told me this story, I believed every word. About 20 years ago, when he was still working as a car salesman, a middle-aged man began visiting his dealership. The man was polite, well-spoken, and dressed like a successful businessman. He said he was looking to buy a car for his nephew. The model he chose was expensive, the kind of car someone in their 20s usually wouldn't buy. Still, my coworker didn't question it too much. The paperwork checked out. The nephew's credit was excellent. Stable job, no missed payments, nothing suspicious. The man insisted on using a special financing option that covered not just the car, but all fees, meaning his nephew wouldn't need to pay anything up front. Back then, this was unusual, but not impossible. The car was approved and delivered. Less than a month later, the man returned. This time he said another nephew needed a car. Same model, same financing. Again, everything checked out perfectly. This kept happening. Every month, sometimes twice a month, new nephews appeared. Different names, different ages, different last names. But the documents were always flawless. My coworker had never met a single nephew in person. Only this man, who always brought every required document himself. At first, it felt like a blessing. In sales, someone like this is called a golden customer, someone who keeps business flowing. But eventually, the pattern became unsettling. One evening, my coworker finally asked how it was possible to have so many nephews. The man smiled, paused, and invited him to dinner. They drove to a large house outside the city, the kind of place only wealthy people owned. Inside, the man explained everything. He said he ran a brick factory, that he grew up abandoned in an orphanage, that he had become successful with nothing, and now dedicated his life to helping children from similar backgrounds. The nephews weren't family by blood. They were orphans he supported. When they became adults, he helped them start life by buying them cars and covering most of the payments. He showed awards, photos, certificates, proof of donations, proof of charity work. My coworker felt ashamed for doubting him. From that point on, he even paid out of pocket to add upgrades to the cars, better tinting, better accessories, because he admired the man so much. Sometime later, my coworker visited a shaman he knew well. She had never been dramatic or greedy. They were close enough that he trusted her completely. The moment she saw him, she said something strange. "You smell like death," she said, not metaphorically, literally. She told him he had brushed past something dangerous, something he didn't belong near. She warned him to lower himself, avoid greed, and stay away from certain people. He laughed it off. Days later, the businessman invited him to visit his brick factory. On the way there, the shaman called him, screaming. She begged him to turn around. She said his lifeline had just been cut, that he was moments from dying. Terrified, my coworker turned back. Later, when he told her where he had been going, she turned pale. She told him the factory wasn't a factory. She said it felt like hell, not metaphorically, literally. Still, business continued. Eventually, the man offered my coworker something unbelievable, to take over the brick factory entirely. He said he was moving overseas and wanted someone he trusted to inherit it. The documents looked legitimate. A professional even confirmed the numbers looked solid. My coworker nearly agreed. Then everything collapsed. The financing company contacted him. None of the car loans were being paid. Every car purchased through that businessman had been sold immediately as used vehicles. The nephews had vanished. Their jobs didn't exist. Their addresses were fake. The businessman disappeared. Police got involved. Then came the worst discovery. When investigators examined the factory, they found bone residue, ground into brick materials. Human bone. No bodies, no DNA. No missing persons that could be traced. The factory owner listed on records was missing. The businessman was arrested, but claimed ignorance. He was convicted only for fraud in illegal medical activity. 3 years. That was all. My coworker believes, and I believe him, that people were killed, burned, crushed, and turned into bricks. That's why no one could be found. That's why nothing could be proven. And that's why the scariest thing about this story isn't ghosts. It's that someone like him could sit across from you, smile, shake your hand, and destroy lives without anyone ever knowing.